You know who I am. I can arrest you just as easy as you can arrest me. Get back in Orin's car with Orin's little department. Let's face it, I don't believe in your authority. Now, how you want to do this? I'll have 300 agents come up here into this little hick town and crawl up every orifice you got.
Let's go, boys.
You'd better watch your step creeping around these parts. Someone warns that poking around could get a person hurt, and the response is blunt. Get out, plain and simple. But Jack isn't going anywhere. He makes clear he's planting himself right there and dares them to round up more people if they want. Things escalate fast. There's talk about cracking wood, a demand for a private conversation that neither side agrees on how to hold, and a boast that there's plenty of dirt on the other guy. One thug gets told not to hide behind his oversized face, and someone promises to smack him around like he's got something coming. What follows is grunting, screaming, a broken nose, and a mouthful of something nobody wanted. The brawl ends with Jack pulling one man aside and telling him it's time to talk. Jackson County, Kentucky becomes ground zero for a deeply unsettling case when 2 federal agents are murdered. A third agent, sent in to look into environmental contamination in the region, turns up dead shortly after. His vehicle found wrecked in the woods, his body carrying 3 stab wounds and a beer bottle left beside him. Local authorities call it an accident. The FBI isn't buying it, especially since the dead agent was a close friend of Agent Jack Taggart, who gets assigned to dig deeper. When Jack arrives in Jackson County, the local priest fills him in. Toxic waste is being quietly disposed of inside abandoned mining shafts, poisoning the land and water throughout the area. Most residents know about it, but they stay quiet because coal mining keeps food on their tables. To keep a low profile, Jack goes undercover, bunking in the church basement and posing as a volunteer carpenter doing repair work around town. As he works, he learns that a wave of local health problems traces back to the contaminated water supply. While collecting samples near the mines, he stumbles onto a hidden marijuana operation. The growers get in his face, demanding to know what he's doing on their turf. After a quick, tense standoff, Jack walks away without making any arrests. The very next day, a representative from the coal company makes it obvious he wants Jack gone. Things get uglier when thugs break into Jack's room and plant 2 rattlesnakes to send a message. Jack's response: he catches the snakes and drops them into the thug's own truck, sending them straight into a crash. When those same thugs come back the following day and get in his face about being too nosy, warning him that trouble has a way of finding people who snoop, Jack beats all of them down without breaking much of a sweat. The corrupt sheriff tries to step in and make an arrest, but the priest intervenes and the sheriff backs off. Jack also strikes up a friendship with Sarah, a local woman who's been shunned ever since she was wrongly blamed for her father's death. He helps out around her property, but her brother Earl shows up and makes it clear Jack should disappear. Jack also gives an elderly man a lift home, and the man turns out to be the anonymous tipster behind the whole investigation. He tells Jack that the Hanner Coal Company has been dumping toxic waste into a sealed-off mine while paying off police and locals to keep it buried. Before Jack can move on any of it, the old man gets beaten badly. Jack rushes him to the hospital, where the sheriff and his deputies are waiting. They accuse Jack of stirring up trouble. Jack tells them he's a federal agent. They laugh it off. He fights back, disarms them, and makes it clear they should stay out of his business. He tells them that if they keep pushing, hundreds more agents will come flooding into the county, and the sheriff and his boys finally back down and leave. That night at a country concert, Hanner Coal's arrogant son starts hassling Sarah and Jack steps in. Hanner himself watches it happen but does nothing about his kid. Instead, he pulls Jack aside and offers him a bribe to walk away from the investigation. Jack refuses and warns Hanner directly. If he had anything to do with killing his friend, there will be consequences. The next day, a company truck tries to run Jack off the road. Jack survives. The driver doesn't, going off a cliff with the truck. Meanwhile, the priest shares the dark truth about Sarah's family. Earl murdered their father after being caught abusing her. That same night, Earl, now in Hanner's pocket, torches the church to shut Jack down. Then he pretends he wants to help Jack take Hanner down and lures him into a trap. Someone introduces Jack by name right before all hell breaks loose. Groaning, gunfire, chaos. Jack fights his way out alive, but Earl and several hired guns don't make it. With evidence in hand and Sarah ready to testify, Jack calls in the FBI for backup. The agents who show up aren't there to help. They're on Hanner's payroll. Jack faces them down at a gas station, kills one, and lets the other go with a message for Hanner. He then uncovers that his own supervisor has been bought off too, and moves to have him taken into custody. Hanner turns himself in on a minor environmental charge, but Jack makes sure he understands that murder charges are on the way. Jack also arrests his corrupt supervisor and heads back to Jackson County, where he corners Hanner's son in a bar. He offers the younger Hanner a deal, testify against his father and walk away with immunity. Hanner Jr. agrees. Jack then tracks Hanner Sr. to a casino, confronting him in front of his wealthy associates. There's a back and forth. Warnings get issued. Defiant remarks get made about where those warnings can go. Someone quips that losing teeth would be worse. An obstruction of justice gets thrown into the conversation. Someone offers Jack a drink, and he politely declines. Hanner, seeing no other way out, goes for his gun. But Jack shoots him in the shoulder first and puts him in cuffs. With Hanner finally behind bars, Jack makes his way back to Kentucky.